everyone. Welcome to another episode of Neat Conversations. Keith, New England Whiskey, with my good buddy Austin Moon's Tavern, your unscripted YouTube show where we go all over the place, any place, up, down, left, right. I don't know. The intro changes every time. We have fun with it. You know, I always like to make a comment on my shirt, Austin. So, I want you to tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
Oh, my God. I don't know if it's cheesy or if it's brilliant. I mean, it's kind of, it might be in between.
Hey, it's a spice world and we're just living in it.
So which Spice Girl is the best, though? I don't even know what their names are. I just know.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I forgot. I don't know. We got sugar spice, pepper spice, salt spice, apple spice, pumpkin spice. I don't know. The Spice world has evolved since the Spice Girls.
That's been when did they come? That's been a hot minute. That's been a long time ago.
Yeah, early 90s, or like 1990s, like 95,
Okay.
1995-ish, somewhere. Maybe a little bit older than that.
I was graduating high school then. That's crazy. That's a long time ago.
I was past diapers, but I was in grade school still, so.
So I guess I'm old as heck now, is what you're trying to say.
No, it's not exactly what I'm saying. But if you want to say it, that's a different story.
I feel old as heck, so we're going to go with that.
So what are we pouring today, Austin?
Well, since this is your pick, we decided on doing the Copper and Cask New England whiskey pick. It's a straight bourbon from Copper and Cask, 7 years. It's at 58.8. So what is that? That's 115, 117, something like that. It's good, man. It's delicious. I mean, I just got this bottle not too long ago, and you see I've already, as you say, put a dent, or as I say, put a dent. That's a pretty good little dent for the little amount that I bottle. But it's a beautiful bottle, and it's got your logo on the back there. I mean, it's really nice. I really like it.
Mine looks full, but this is not my first bottle of it, so. It is a fresh crack on this bottle, but yeah, and the other good thing, so obviously we talked that it's New England whiskey, my first individual barrel pick, done with Copper and Cask, and available on Seal Box still. There's about 30-ish bottles left, so if you're thinking about it, you're running low on time. But the other cool thing about this pick, which I thought was really special, was for every bottle sold, $5 will go to the Alzheimer's Association. So you can get a good bottle at not a high price point, and you can donate a couple bucks to charity on top of it. I'd say that's a win-win and a fair game. And I think you had some complimentary things to say on the pour itself too.
Yeah, no, I mean it's funny because anyone that watches this channel knows that you and I don't agree a lot on. I mean, we agree when whiskey's good and stuff like that, but when it comes to tasting notes or something of that, your preferences tend to go in an opposite direction of mine. But it's funny with this one, I feel like it was right on. I remember when I first got the bottle and I tasted it, I think I immediately texted you and I was like, man, you hit this one out of the park. It was crazy to me that, not that you weren't capable of doing it, but I'm just saying it was crazy to me how in tuned it was to what the stuff that I like, which typically when we're talking about bourbon or whiskey or whatever, that's not the case when it comes to us. I'll be like, hey, well, I like A, and you'll be like, well, I like E. So, I mean, it's not, it usually doesn't match up there. I would have been interested to have the samples that you had to see if I would have picked the same one. But regardless, I mean, this is a bomb bottle. Like I was telling you, I think I'm gonna have to get another one because this one is and I'm going actually to a bourbon thing tonight. I'm gonna take that with me, let some other people taste it as well. I mean, it is definitely one that's worthy to get got. Yeah. Absolutely.
And I mean, the price point is just under $70 on Seal Box. I don't remember the exact to the dollar, but it's like $67, $68. So, and then again, $5 of that goes to Alzheimer's. So if you think about it, you don't see a ton with this age statement, 7 years under the $70 price point even. So it's pretty good all around it. Just in terms of that, you talk about $10 per year is kind of the benchmark, although we've talked that it's probably more like $12 to $13 a year in today's given market than it was a couple years ago. But just based on the price point and age statement, you would expect it to be closer to that 100 range. So
Yeah, no, it's a banger bottle, and like you say, for a very good cause. So we will call this the Parker's Heritage of New England here.
hey, I'm good with that, and it is cool to see my logo on a bottle. Obviously, I've never had that before, so pretty cool to see how that all came about, and works out. I'm not complaining at all. So glad to see it selling. That's obviously the most nerve-wracking part about doing a full barrel is it going to sell? Is it just going to sit? So like I said, it was a full barrel, 155 total bottles, down to, like I said, just a little over 30 right now. So it's moving.
Yeah, no, and the thing that impressed me was how much it moved in the beginning. But it's one of those things that a lot of people know you. I mean, the cause and the dude are definitely a good thing to support, and again, I'd recommend everybody to get a bottle. But I guess enough talking about it. Let's get into it and really talk about it, right?
Yeah, I feel like I should let you. I feel like I generally go first with tasting notes, but I feel like we should let you go first on this one,
Okay.
just because if you really want to know my tasting notes and you haven't heard Austin, my tasting notes are the ones listed on Sealbox, so you can read it and see how close me and Austin are. But I'm not saying pause and don't come back to our episode. Just saying you can pause, go read, and come back. But
So I'm gonna switch glasses here.
you're going out of your rolling glass.
Yeah, well, when I'm really trying to get into stuff to nosing it, the Glencairn is a little bit better because it funnels in there. When I'm having my everyday pours, of course, people who know me, who follow me, they know that it goes up to the tippy top. So that does really well because the orifice of the glass is a lot bigger, so I can get stuff out of that. But
people know you for your Moon's pours, is what you were trying to say.
Exactly. Nah, so I mean, your quintessential. I mean, and we say it every time, but I mean that's just a bourbon thing.
Yeah.
Your brown sugar. I mean, I even get like a little bit of orange zest, maybe. And I'm not a big, and this is the crazy thing is I'm not a big orange guy, but I love this. So it might go into maybe like an orange slice, like that candy orange slice, maybe. I know that's a drastic difference from orange zest. It's something orange, but it's not off-putting to where I'm like, ugh, it's orange. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes though you do get it in some, bourbons and whiskeys. You get a lot of that citrus feel to it, and it can be, just in any ones that we've ever tried, it can be a little off-putting. It just can be a little too bright, a little too sweet.
Well, for the viewers, I'm not an orange guy at all. So for me to say that it's got some orange and I like it, that means it's right in the pocket of where it should be, to where it's like, it's there, but it's not overpowering. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's caramel, big caramel bomb.
Yeah.
I mean, it huge caramel bomb.
And people that watch us generally know I always say, like, I try not to just go caramel brown sugar off the bat because it's just your quintessential bourbon tasting notes and tasting profile.
But it is what it is.
But yeah, I mean, this just, the caramel's there. I mean, there's no way to deny it.
Yeah, so I mean, on this now that I'm really getting into it, it's a little bit, like I said, a little bit of orange, but not off-putting. It's almost like a Milky Way with extra caramel to a certain extent. I mean, it's a sweet bourbon, but it's not overly sweet, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah. No, but I think, talking about the Milky Way side of it, you definitely do get a little bit of that chocolate on it in the very back end. I can taste. You generally pick up the chocolate and that malt style a little bit better than me, but I do get a little hint of the chocolate notes. Very, very little, very subtle. Definitely not a prominent note or something I say you feature in this, but I do get that too.
Yeah, I mean, and everything that I just said, of course, it was only like 3 things, definitely transcends. And you almost get course, I'm a fat guy, so I know my candy bars, right? So I would almost say it's like a blend of a Milky Way, but it also has like the nugget, the nougat of a, I don't know, of like a Mars bar, right? So it's kind of like a caramel nougat.
Yeah, and we've talked about it before too. I mean, the time of day that we're recording what we've eaten today, we're gonna change our palates. And you were getting ready to have lunch before we recorded. I was on my way home from breakfast because we never eat at the same time. So,
hold on for a second. My dog,
Booker's booking.
My dog's ball dropped where you can't get it. He's gonna start barking. Oh boy. Unscripted, yes, yeah. Oh yeah, Miranda's over here saying, "Don't forget the butterscotch. It was a butterscotch bomb too," because she tried it as well. Because I always like to do the, and I don't know how this is in your opinion. Sometimes it seems like when I taste something and my wife tastes something or smells something, her nose is a little bit more sensitive than mine as far as some of the things. So she'll pick out stuff and it'll be something that I can't necessarily translate. You know what I mean? And be like, man, I don't know what it is. And she's like, butterscotch, that's what it is. I'm like, you are absolutely right. So yeah, I mean, when we tried it before, and even now I'm getting it too, like a Werther's candy per se. But again, I'm still going with the Milky Way with heavy caramel, like the nougat from a Mars bar, kind of going into some baking spices with just a hint of orange, not nothing too crazy. And then it's got, I mean, for this to only be the 58.8 ABV, it's got a nice little finish, a nice little hug. It hangs around. I would even say that it's a medium to long finish. So, I mean, the whole entire experience of this, man, I mean, I'm not just saying this just to, say it, but you really did hit it out of the park with this one, in my opinion.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Usually when I've done a barrel pick or a barrel selection, I'm going, I have a group of people. I recently, last week, just did a barrel pick with the Bourbon Thieves. You're usually working with a lot of different palates and a lot of different opinions. And this was different because, I did have I had my 2-ounce sample bottles to go through when I did this one. So I couldn't share it with a ton of people to get their opinions, but I did ask a few other people just kind of what they thought. And ultimately, it's cool to make it my final decision.
Right.
But yeah, it was different in that regard that I was kind of doing it just on my own. But you were talking that Miranda's palate was picking up different things, and they do say that a woman's palate is more sophisticated than a man's palate, that they're able to pull out a lot more than we can. So it's not surprising that Miranda would be able to help you identify a flavor that you're having difficulty getting.
Well, I mean, and she's, I'll say that I'm the sous chef. She's the head chef of the house. So, I mean, she has the final say on how much seasonings go into things. So I think that with the stuff that she does, she really can explain it better than me. I can say, well, I'm getting this, but I don't really know what it is. And then she'll be like, oh, well, I'm getting cinnamon. I'm like, you know what? You're right. That is what it is. And it's like, it's in your head, but it's not coming out of trying to explain it. So she is definitely the head chef, and I'm just a sous chef, and I eat it. So it's a good combination.
So when I see all the food that you're posting, you're telling me it's not really you, it's Miranda.
No, well, so if it's anything on the grill, it's absolutely me. If it's usually anything inside, or definitely the baking part, because I don't bake, I burn everything if I bake anything, it's definitely her. So, but majority of the time, to be honest with you, it's a 50-50 kind of thing. I mean, usually when we're cooking, we're both in the kitchen, doing all kind of stuff. I'm taking orders and doing what, she needs to get done, because it's overwhelming when it's just you and you're doing 18 different things trying to figure it out. And then plus two, just like almost every other woman I know right now, she's into the sourdough, the baking of the bread. And so we're doing bread. I mean, everything that we've had so far today, we've had sourdough in 3 different things, where we had sourdough waffles, we had sourdough noodles off of chicken noodle soup, or she made the noodle, and then we had sourdough bread and our grilled cheese with the grilled cheese and the chicken noodle soup. So it's definitely cool to be able to do all that stuff and make all the homemade stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not as big of a cooker. I did cook dinner last night for probably the first time in a while, but we get there.
Man. Now,
but I was going to say the enchiladas that you posted that Miranda made like last week or 2 weeks ago, that looked pretty bomb. I'm not going to lie.
Oh my gosh. And it's funny because after we made it and we ate it, and of course, it's just like anything. It's like Thanksgiving dinner, right? When you do Thanksgiving dinner, you spend this amount of time on it, and then you eat for 5 minutes, and it's all done, right? So the enchiladas is kind of like that. It's not really hard. It's just a lot of steps that you have to do. So it was funny after we got done eating. I was like, "Hey, babe, how come we don't do this?" She goes, "Well, we've been cooking for 3 freaking hours, Austin." She's like, "That's why we don't do it all the time." She goes, "We'd be in the kitchen nonstop." And I was like, "Okay, well, that's fair. I mean, that definitely makes sense." But we enjoy it. I mean, it's something that we do. I absolutely recommend couples cooking together. I think I don't know. I think it's a good thing.
It can be therapeutic. It can also be nerve-wracking and frustrating at times.
If you both equally can't take orders, then it might not be a good idea. People throwing pans across the room at each other. Shut up!
I ran a McDonald's kitchen, so if I can handle that during a busy lunch rush, making 30 Big Macs, I think anything's doable.
It's funny, man, and I don't know. I think I told you this story before, but I worked at McDonald's for one day. I went in and it was my buddy's McDonald's. It was my buddy's mother's McDonald's, and they went in there like, "Hey, we want you to do all this. We're gonna put you on the grill for today." I was on the grill, and then it was my break time. I said, "Yeah, I'll be back." Never came back. I was like, "Man, I can't do that. It's just a lot,
I had a buddy like that too. That he was only supposed to work like 2 4-hour shifts. He went down to like 1 2-hour shift in the week, and the GM said, "The only reason we haven't fired you is because Keith's a good worker and you're his friend."
Hey man, sometimes, I mean, especially too when you're not used to that much volume, you know what I mean? It's just like crap. I got 80 burgers on this griddle that I need to freaking flip all the time and try to multitask. If you're not used to that kind of stuff, then it's completely, it's mind blowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, my first shift, I still remember this. When I was 14 years old when I started working at McDonald's, and I had a regular, the guy that was training me. He was a regular guy that was right behind me, and one of our regular customers came in, and this guy would come in every morning. I got to know him later in time, but I didn't know him. Obviously, it's my first shift. How else would I know him? And so he gives me his order. It was like a sausage, egg, and cheese on a bagel and a cup of coffee. And I go, "Anything else?" And he goes, "Yeah, all the money in the register," just like very stern. And I look back at the trainer. I was like, "I don't know what to do." Very, very freaky. And he was like, "Nah, I'm just kidding. You're going to be dealing with me all the time." But I was like, I don't really know what to do. The trainer knew him. So the trainer was laughing behind me. Like it was in the moment very scary because I don't know. I'm 14 years old.
Right.
I'm being robbed potentially. I don't know. It all worked out, but.
Like, I can't give you the money, but I got a Big Mac back there I'll hook you up with.
I was like, "Dude, it's my first shift. You're going to get me fired."
Trying to make a good impression, damn it. Stop it. Nah, man, it's good. So I'm curious to see what you, if the notes that I picked, and I know you said it's on Silbacks, but not everybody's on that. So why don't you tell me what you're getting?
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a lot of the same things that you said. The only thing that I'm getting that you haven't really touched on is I'm getting a little bit more dried fruit, maybe a little bit of dark cherry, a little bit of apricot. I'm getting a little bit of that fruit notes on the back end. I think, like you said, you get the caramel, the brown sugar, and the butterscotch kind of as your forefront. A little bit of the dried fruit, cherry, apricot towards the back, and then that last little hint of maybe chocolate on that finish. And I think the reason I ultimately went with this is I liked that finish. I thought the finish out of the samples that I had really stood out. I thought it was a longer finish than any of the other ones. And for me, if I'm gonna drink something, I want it to linger a little bit. I don't want to take a sip and then it's gone 4 seconds later. Although that's how you go through a bottle really quick because you're just going through it so that it
Yeah,
stays. But I like that it
this
stays by itself too.
this definitely is a crushable bottle, man. I mean, I could see being at a cookout or just hanging out by the fire, and then all of a sudden you look down and the bottle's gone. You're like, what happened? I
Yeah.
don't understand what happened.
Yeah, I haven't paired this with a cigar yet. I'll definitely have to do that. It's a little cold here in New England for sitting outside smoking a cigar right now, but eventually that'll change.
Y'all just didn't y'all just get dumped on a whole bunch with some snow? Y'all got some snow coming right behind it, right?
Yeah, we got snow like last Thursday. Then we got snow on Super Bowl Sunday. And then we're supposed to get more snow tonight, anywhere from 2 to 4 to 6 inches. So you never know. So
Yeah, you can stay up that far north. I'll stay more down Mason
no,
Dixie line.
I'll ship the snow back to you so you can take another week off of
I'm
work
good.
for 1 inch of snow.
I'm fine with it. I'll make a copper cask snow cone.
Hey, there you go. Just be careful that you're not getting any yellow snow that Booker
No
helped
yellow
create
snow.
first.
No yellow snow. Nah, it's really good, man. Very good. Yeah, I can see what you're talking about with the apple and the cherry. And I may have said that the first initial time, but you know how sometimes when things open up a little bit more, things become more dominant. You know what I mean?
Yep.
The caramel and the butterscotch and the nougat part and all that. I mean, that really is just. I mean, that punches you in the face. Then the baking spices and all that kind of good stuff is in there too. That little bit of spice, I love it. It's like everything, like I said, everything is taking you down a path. It's not like a straight line. It's kind of like switchback roads. So it's taking you on a nice little journey. And then, like I said, we could go back to singing, John Denver Country Roads. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say, are we going back to Jerry's house right now? That's what I was feeling.
Maybe so. No, it's good, man. Yeah. So I mean, if y'all have not picked up a bottle, definitely would recommend it. And what I'll do is I'll drop a link into the description of this video where they can pick it up. Or where you can pick it up if you are interested in a bottle. But definitely get it because they're gonna be gone. I would dare to say probably in a couple weeks. If it even takes that long, they'll be gone by then.
Yeah.
Because I'm buying another one.
Like I said, just over 30 bottles on the lower end of that 30 range. So they'll go when they go, but if you're waiting on it, don't wait too long because once they're gone, I can't replicate it. Nor can Copper and Cask, and that's the fun of a single barrel. And we've talked about
that's
that.
Right. That's
before.
The beauty of it all.
Yeah, you can never replicate it, even if you do it as close as humanly possible. You'll never be able to replicate it again.
Glad we decided to get into this bottle again. Of course, as soon as we get off here, I'm probably going to have a bigger pour. But yeah, we've got a Valentine's dinner that we're going to tonight, like I said. So I'll definitely share that with the guys. So I can't get into it too much, or there won't be nothing left, and they'll be like, "Hey, man, I thought you said you were bringing this." But anyway.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you sharing it with people and letting them taste it and get to experience it.
Heck yeah, man. Well, cool, brother. I guess until next time.
Until next time.
All right,
Cheers,
brother.
y'all.
Cheers.